Hey guys, William John Raitt back with another episode of Design and Invest. Just got off a call with my buddy Brett Baer from Vesta Staging, one of the best and biggest stagers in the world. He's a mentor of mine, and he told me that he is free to meet. Finally got a hold of him, and I'm rushing over to go visit with him and hopefully film some cool content.
Man.
It's been too long.
I know. How you been?
Been good, busy, trying to just make things work, and I got my hands in so many different cookie jars, and all right, so I finally getting to catch up with my buddy Brett here. He's one of my mentors and good friends. I've known him for quite a few years now, and he is one of the leading stagers here actually probably the leading stager here in LA. Always guys out there, when you're running around, look for the best, reach out to them. They're really approachable. Brett and I met quite a few years ago. A contractor that he uses hires me from time to time to do some design work, some renderings and stuff like that. So he called me in and said, oh yeah, there's the guy that we're meeting with today that I'm partnering with on this is also a stager. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. There's a lot of stagers out there. When I met him, I'm like, holy shit, this is Brett Baer. This is the stager. You know, at the time he was working as a president of Meridith Baer, by far the biggest stager in probably the country. And so we hit it off instantly. I told him about my operation, and you know, we found some synergies between us that can really work out. You know, I mean, he doesn't touch stuff under like $8,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, and I sort of live in that space under that. So we found some synergies. I shoot the big stuff up to him, he shoots the small stuff to me, just lending the experience. I came across this industry just kind of by accident. So having somebody like him with this wealth of knowledge, and how many years have you been in the game now? 18 years. I mean, that's a wealth of knowledge, and at a high level the entire time. So I mean, if you can't learn from somebody like him, then you shouldn't even be in the game. But give us a little background on yourself.
Finding more and more ways to collaborate every day.
Got to keep your ears to the ground and open to conversations. And I reach out to people all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and just to pick their brain. I was listening to a podcast last week on the Chase Lounge.
Okay.
And I don't know if you listened to it or not, but it's an upcoming design podcast. And they had a stager on. And the company is Spade and Archer. You've heard of them. They're out of Seattle and Portland.
Okay.
And he's doing something really unique. The first I've ever heard in the staging industry. He's doing guaranteed staging. And what that means is that they guarantee a sale. If they don't sell, they don't pay a dime. It's a little risky, but at the same time, think about how many contracts you and I could win if we offered that. I mean, you say, hey, you don't pay until escrow closes, and we're along the ride with you. You know, teamwork. You know, that whole thing. And I mean, that would close so many deals. But there's risk there.
We are offering finance through a third party.
Oh,
if that's someone I should turn you on to.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
And so if a client comes in, doesn't have the budget, they can pay with this guy.
Do you think that company would do some sort of factoring type approach with me?
Yes.
Because that would work if I used the guaranteed approach and just did factoring with them on it. You know, of course there is some risk, but I mean, at least if they were to factor in just my cost of actual labor,
right?
You know, that would help.
No, they'll pay your full contract out.
Yeah.
And then they'll charge a finance fee to this guy.
Oh.
So he'll carry it for 6 months.
Yeah.
3 to 6 months, and you'll get paid up front, and your client will pay at escrow when they're hopefully cash rich.
Wow. Okay. So it's a guarantee without the actual guarantee. They still pay
without you taking the risk.
Yeah. What happens if they end up not selling and you?
It's outside of your control.
Okay.
Because you've sold essentially the loan to this finance company.
Okay. So they're the dogs on you and not.
That's right. And you don't have to be the bad guy. You can go on to future.
Yeah, and those guys have big insurance policies and things in place. So if something doesn't pay out, Please turn me on to that. It sounds really interesting.
No, that is good.
So tell my viewers a little bit about your history in staging, how you got into it, and sort of where you are today. Just a quick little.
So I started with my aunt 18 years ago. I went off on my own. 2 years ago. We have a very different kind of play. It's much more of a retail-oriented staging company, so we're designing our own furniture. We're continuing to change it. We're treating it like fashion as opposed to just putting furniture into a space and really pushing the retail outlet. We're also putting everything that we earn back into technology. We're building basically an online shopping experience, but we're in the home. So instead of having,
it's really smart.
Instead of selling in a retail outlet, we've got retail outlets throughout the city. They're the homes. You walk in, there's a really clear presentation on how you can buy it. It's not furniture that they've seen purchased at a show where it
you see it everywhere else in other states.
Repeats in all different sorts of venues. It's furniture that our designers are coming up with the concept with, and we're building and importing.
That's fantastic.
And that I think is the long-term play, where a designer can walk in with an iPad, be in the space, design it, show the client what they're going to do.
Exact pieces and stuff.
Exact
really
pieces.
rare. Like I never do that for clients because it's just like I don't know what's going to be in my warehouse tomorrow.
That is the traditional limitation in staging, which is you don't actually know what you have available at the moment. You're bidding a job that's going to come up in 2 weeks,
2 months.
2 months. You don't know when it's going to be. You don't know what you will have. But when we get a contract, we can commit to precise furniture. We can show them online what we're going to be delivering to a house. And that I think is an evolution in staging that in years to come will completely revolutionize.
And so currently, I mean, I teamed up with Brett on the Walgrove property, which is going to be, I think, 2 posts away from this post, where I'm going to debut the entire project from start to finish. We teamed up on the staging on that one. I could have taken it down, but to be honest with you, this is a really important client, and I wanted to make sure that I brought it, to the nth degree. And so he gave us a very fair price on that, and we worked on that together, and they did an amazing job. The lady who ended up buying the property bought a good deal of the furniture there as well. They made it super easy. I remember when you get these calls too, guys, like they tell you like, the agent will call you and be like, I need a price list right now. I need prices right away. And it's like everything's of such urgency. And so when I told his team that we need price lists, like within 20 minutes, they sent me the price list. And for me, when people ask me for price list, I need like a day to like work up the numbers and look at the products that are in there, figure it out. But they just had it down to a science. And that response time like really helped them get that sale for the furniture. What are some other things that you do to increase?
The first thing to do to get a sale is just to be able to give someone a price list immediately, like you mentioned. Like they're not going to wait 4 days, and you probably got 12 days of work ahead of you that you haven't gotten to. So again, I had been in staging for a long time. I knew what we were up against. I knew some of the evolutionary steps we needed, and being able to start with nothing, ground up. We put everything on RFID chips. We have the pricing information when we buy it. We have a percentage markup from purchase. It's very low. It's lower than retail.
Do you have it factored in how many uses that are in it and sort of the depreciation of that particular item?
We do, because the goal is not to own anything after 3 or 4 turns.
Okay.
Whereas the traditional staging model is...
But you also have those items available. You can send them a new one.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So the traditional model is just to spin it as many times. That works for and against you. It works for you because at some point you've cashed out the piece and it's just profit. It works against you because people see it and you're known by it. So what we're trying to do is sell at a very low markup, lower than retail, because we don't have the overhead cost of retail. We don't have a showroom. We don't have a showroom manager. We don't have electricity and parking bills. We have a negative acquisition price for a retail outlet. So we put it in, we sell it at a very low markup, we buy new, and we continually cycle through inventory. And that's the model.
And they do really smart things too. Like they have these really classy looking plaques and stuff that look, and I'll reference it here as well. These little glass plaques that sort of say, furnishings are available for sale. So it kind of like each room you see these subtly, and they look like it's a card holder. It looks like something classy that you would see on a bookshelf or what have you. It's not like a tacky, a plaque from Staples or something, And I thought that was a really smart idea. And do you have a team of people that sort of educate realtors? Because a lot of times our clients are the developer themselves. Actually, most of the time they are. The realtors themselves, are the ones that are showing clients, and we don't see the interactions they have, but I guarantee people are, oh, I love this furniture, I love this. As they're going around, oh yeah, everything's for sale, even if you don't buy the place.
Yeah.
Like, do you educate the realtors on these kind of things?
We do. Now, here's an incentive that you kind of have to put in place.
Yeah.
You pay the developer a percentage of the inventory sale.
Oh.
The developer then will push the agent to push the furniture sale.
So it's almost like you don't need to educate the realtor directly.
You build it into the sales process.
Because I've found that the majority of times when I make a sale of furniture, it's from a very active developer or a very active flipper that's very hands-on with that process. So he gets the information right away to them. And but I mean, I guarantee if you close that gap, like you said, that's a great way to close that gap, is to bring the developer an incentive for that, or maybe even apply it towards future jobs or whatever,
Yeah, exactly.
That's a great approach.
Or credit, actually, even better.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
Credit on the next staging.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I love it. So this property that we're in front of right now, when is this going to be ready to
So
stage?
this is about 1 month off, three weeks to 1 month, which is about as much lead time as we're ever given.
Yeah.
Unless it's a monster-sized project.
Yeah.
We're just gearing up for it.
Okay. How many stages do you have out at any given time? I know right now it's a low season. We're about to really peak.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we did have a weird winter. I know you experienced it like I did, where we were jam-packed.
We did.
And our inventory is pretty low at the warehouse, and I know that we're waiting on a lot of stuff to come in, as are you. But right now, roughly, how many stages do you have out?
We're at about 320 right now.
That's insanity, guys. This is the top dog. I have probably 30 out right now, but then I have a whole Airbnb business where I have another 25 properties out. But that's like the crap inventory that I'm just sort of pushing out the back door. It's a good outlet actually for the furniture.
It's a fantastic outlet. But then destroy it.
And then it's like after
it, and then
and I make I charge for these Airbnb properties. I manage them and have a team to sort of facilitate the entire transaction. And I have a maid crew that turns the units over, a management crew and so I make money on the furniture too.
Do you see that growing, or do you
No,
see that
well, they passed the legislation, so it's kind of a gray area right now. I have several different accounts. I have like 10 properties on each account.
Oh,
so
wow.
like new legislation, I have one property that's your sole property that you live
so
in.
they're getting away from the.
Yeah, but it's again like you're going from the occupancy tax that LA makes is in the hundreds of millions of dollars, like per year.
Yeah.
So now they're gonna basically chop that off completely. Do you think that's gonna happen just to satisfy nosy Susan next door who doesn't want Airbnb? They're gonna just appeal her with the legislation that was passed, so she feels good. But the enforcement on that. That's what I think. Yeah. So I don't know what's really going to happen. We'll find out. It's not going to kill me if that goes away. But I'm always looking for the next deal, the next sort of opportunity.
Yeah.
I'll find an opportunity from that opportunity to do something.
Well, you're really diversified. It's smart. I love your approach.
Yeah.
Development, buy and holds, Airbnb, staging.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then my
smart.
design business is really growing too.
That's great.
I have more and more developers signing up lately, doing design books for them, doing key walks, because a lot of these developers, they're great at the money side of things, but they're not so great on like stuff like this. Like, look at this house, for instance. Okay, I don't want to call this developer out or anything, but you see how they're piping. See what this is. This is most likely the rain gutters or some sort of LID, sort of water basins underneath it and such. You have these popping up surrounding property. Brett's gonna have to come in, stage some furniture around it so you don't see that and sort of disguise it. But these are all things that would have been caught in rough inspections by me if I'm walking the property. With modern design like this, they want to maximize the volume completely inside. That's taking the ceilings as high as they can, the walls as thin as they can, floor plan as open as they can. But by doing that, you need to make room for ductwork, for this and that. I mean, you got to find smart ways to run chases and soffits to hide these pipes and LID and things like that aren't caught, because when the architects do a great job at the aesthetics of how it looks, but the equipment side and all of that, you always miss a beat. So if I were to walk this property during the rough plumbing, rough all of this and that, I would have caught that. I would have caught anything else that sort of comes up. You see up here, he's got a little odd chase. that's up at the bottom, or a little odd soffit on the top of the wall. That serves. Probably the only reason that serves is this same sort of pipe on top, where they couldn't leave the pipe exposed up top. So there's tons of things like that. So a lot of my developer clients are using me to do rough plumbing, rough electrical walks right before they close things up, with the drywall. I do framing walks with them, make sure to validate their floor plans, like this is a stupid idea, or hey look, light switch is on the wrong side, guys, you're gonna have to tear up your drywall at some point and fix that, or get a new door. And so identifying problems, and doing the design work and spec books and things like that. So a lot more of that.
I just hired a designer to do the flip I've got coming on the market right now.
You got me over here.
Just the sort of the softness in her touch and the subtlety is so. It just transforms. It just
it's true.
Takes it away from being a flip project or a spec project. And really makes it.
I trust you. As many jobs as we walk, I mean, like this guy walks a hell of a lot more than me, but you just sniff out these bad flippers and bad developers that are just doing the same thing over and over. And people know that. The buyers know that. Like he's talking about the delicate touch. That takes you to a whole other.
Know when something's been cheaped out.
Of course. And then you with your staging, he's taken the approach to the same sort of soft, attention to detail stuff you don't see every day type approach, which is really the differentiator between time on the market, the price of what things go for, and everything in between. And it's
the other problem.
It's hard to teach developers this though, because they just don't see the value in.
It is the issue is. And this happens to all of us, but you become a victim of your success. So as a stager, you put an orchid in a room, it looked great. Now every house has 20 orchids because you were successful with it, people recognized it, and it's rinse and repeat. And being able to break yourself out of those habits and experiment and try things and feed that muscle of creativity and newness.
And you have a great team too. Your designers.
It really comes down to there are designers who just move furniture, and there are designers who are married to the craft. And you have to find those people who really care about reinvention and doing something creative and doing something that hasn't been thought of before. And they're out there, and usually. They're they have the artistic temperament. They're harder to fit into organizations. So
that's I'm being more and more selective with my clients. Like I'm really kind of pulling back a little bit on the personal homes and that kind of stuff. Unless if I have like a doctor, like two husband and wife doctor that just don't have time to do any design and want me to just run the show, that's what I'm best at. And they're going to get the best product out of me for doing that. But if I have somebody who's super hands-on, and like, well, this is what I have in mind. I want to see what you have, and I want to see your vision and see what existing furniture you have and things like just to feel your style. But really, like I'm pulling back on the clients who are really hands-on and pushing more on the developer clients that let me run the show. Yeah. Because I mean, really, like this is what I do, and this is what you do. Like, if someone tells you how to stage, you're gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna be nice, and all this and that. And you know what? Maybe they do want a specific style. And you gotta cater to that. But there's a line. There's a line.
Very important point, and you have to get in front of people and say it's a creative process. Yeah. And there's failures in any creative endeavor. And if you don't allow for that, if you don't let the designer in on her own, doing her thing, making mistakes, figuring it out, switching stuff out, then you're going to and if you ride her, and if you micromanage her, and you look over her shoulder, she's going to play it safe. And you're not going to get the best. You're going to get a dumbed down design. So that's a hard thing to communicate.
Yeah, and it's a slippery slope too, because you got to please the client. And you want them to walk in and just be blown away. That's right. Which usually they are. But there are the times where they're like, okay, well, I wanted, I was thinking more floral. I'm like, well, look, this isn't interior design. This is staging. You have to paint the picture for the broad audience.
Staging is making sausage. It's not pretty, but it's tasty at the end of the exercise.
That's a good way to put it. This is a developer that you work a lot with?
This is a developer we work a lot with. And they want a boutique hotel out of this house, which this house has kind of got everything in it. Yeah. Open floor plan, oversized fireplace,
Yeah, there's some
pool cabana, and we should walk through it when it's done. And
Yeah, absolutely. Do like a little revisit of it.
yeah,
For sure.
Yeah.
So tell me about your recent trip to China. I know you were doing some sourcing for some new. How did that go?
spent 2 weeks in the factories designing, building shop drawings for things, altering things that we've done before to give them a new twist. And like I said, the idea is reinvention. So
How many containers you got coming over here?
we will have probably 40 to 45 containers when it's all said and done.
That's wild.
Massive order.
That's
so the
wild.
idea is to double this year.
Yeah.
That's what we're after.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a big year.
So how many designers do you currently have staging for you?
20 designers.
20 designers, and I know that last time I visited your warehouse, you're pretty much at the gills there. Are you looking to expand warehouse wise too, or
We're not.
so you're just gonna make that work?
We've got.
We don't your product in play.
Furniture. Yeah,
and you're selling, so
we had
to work.
We had a larger place, and then we realized we cannot hold inventory long enough. And this year we don't expect to have any inventory held for a substantial amount of time. So the idea is just to.
And what do you do with the products that just sort of are on their last leg, or just you just chuck it, donate it, or what do you?
Donate it. You know, the issue is it really it's a detriment to your look.
Yeah.
So you really have to
Hang on. That was one problem that your old company had, right? They just hoarding everything.
Notorious for that.
Notorious.
Yeah.
And buying the same stuff year after year.
And just kind of a laziness, a lackadaisical approach. Oh, we'll be able to use that somewhere, which you will eventually.
Yeah.
But is it really your look? Is it really your aesthetic? Is it really your?
Is it worth hanging on to? Otherwise, it just congests your wear. I have stuff on my shelves that I have never used. You know, that I'm just like, why am I hanging on to this? That's just not my look.
And you're paying to do it.
Yeah, I know, and I'm paying for that product every month. I'm paying for that product, that shelf space, and I just need to let it go.
No, liquidation is a huge issue in staging. How do you get rid of it? So
well, you know what? One sort of thing that because I'm finding all these resources that I'm buying these crazy closeouts and samples and returned items, and a lot of these big companies that I'm buying from now are just, they sell on Amazon and Wayfair and these places, and so they just have congestion problems of returns, and they're willing to let it go for like pennies on a dollar. A lot of the stuff has never even been opened. It just wasn't signed for at the door, returned to sender. They can't shelf it like new because it would take inspections. They just shove it in the back and want it out.
That's
so
fantastic.
I help them out with that, but what thing I'm trying to and I'm battling with, maybe I can get your input on this, is I want to intercept this, but if I do, I'll need just gigantic warehouse just to do this. But I want an outlet for this, and I want maybe I know retail's a shit show right now across the board. Like all these malls are like they have all these vacancies. We can maybe do some pop-up type location deals. They just close out type specials. Where you price it to where it's moving. You know what I mean? And it's making sense to you because you bought it for pennies. You know, I bought my last purchase. I bought over $100,000 worth of product, wholesale product, for $10,000. And so I'm still sifting through it and spending a lot of man hours to do so.
Yeah.
But if I'm selling a sofa for $200, who's not going to buy that sofa? It's going to fly. So I just need to get it in front of people.
What about getting someone good at selling online?
Just like somebody just hitting up all the offer ups and those kind of places, and Craigslist, and just liquidating.
Kings Lane, Craigslist.
Okay. One thing I was thinking about too is a lot of these retailers that I'm buying these return items from. You could sell it as used. You know, like when you go to Amazon, you're buying and it says new, used. You can sell it right back on Amazon as used and just. All right, guys, back at home. Been a really long day. I didn't film most of it, but I did film the most important bit, which was the little segment with Brett Baer, my mentor. He is an amazing dude. I hope you learned something from that. And also, we talked about some pretty big things in there. We will probably be getting a conference, staging/design conference going pretty soon. I've never done one before, so let's see if how that plays out. Really excited about that, and really excited about the future. And I hope you enjoyed. Remember, design, invest, repeat.